Arsenal complete domination against West Ham. 2-0, easy, cruising win. Very simple. As I mentioned before, the most consistent team in terms of performances and how they approach games are Arsenal. 2-0 to Arsenal, top of the league, waiting for Liverpool to play. Chelsea, of course, depending on when are you watching this, of course. But before we go on, I am Judge Mo. We'll analyze the game. We'll talk about the open play that people keep talking about. Arsenal don't create from open play and blah, 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 and all this talk that is happening, of course. But before we do that, hit that like button, people. Subscribe to the channel. If you guys are new, this is Viktor Gyökeres. We are on the way to 50K. Quick match reaction before we go and watch the other games, of course. So hit that like button, subscribe. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. I'm going to start by saying, performance-wise, was absolutely fantastic. Of course, Martin Odegaard, who looks like he's holding his inside of the knee, based on the experience, a little bit of my experience with this, it might be an MCL injury, which is something that heals by itself. It won't require surgery. Might actually heal between 3 to 5 weeks if it's grade 1, or 2 to 4 weeks if it's grade 1. And I think it's grade 1. I saw the impact. It wasn't as bad at all. It wasn't as hard, and he was able to run on it. I had this injury before, but I had grade 2 MCL, and it healed within a couple of months. But I wasn't able to run on it. Once I had that impact on my knee inside, I wasn't able. But Martin Odegaard was able to continue a little bit on it. That tells me that maybe the injury is not as strong. But we got to speak about a couple of things, of course. And I'm going to start by the man that absolutely changed the game. The guy that played the pass for Timber in the second half to get the penalty. The guy that played the ball to Eze for Declan Rice's first goal to score. I think I need to highlight his performances. The guy that dictates the game, controls the tempo of the ball, and also knows where to go. Does he go left? Does he go right now? That's something that is very important in the defensive midfielder, the guy that plays deep, to actually be able to read the pitch. And that is something that not a lot of people talk about. To read where are the weaknesses from the opposition, to actually lead the attack. Do I go right to Saka? Do I go left towards Trossard and maybe Eze or Declan Rice after Declan Rice after Odegaard went out? Like, where to go on the pitch, where the pass is happening. Absolutely brilliant performance.
Mikel Arteta has made a clear statement today. He wants the Premier League and nothing less than the Premier League, and he's ready to sacrifice anything for the Premier League. This starting lineup today, an Arsenal starting lineup with 2 attacking eights in Eze and Odegaard, is enough to tell me that Arteta is ready to lose control. He's ready to take on chaos to win the Premier League. That is one thing I criticize Arteta about, that he's too cautious. He doesn't like chaos at all. But you starting Eze and Odegaard, and even Rice, that is not a DM. We know Rice as a dynamic box-to-box player who is very good defensively, is enough to tell me that he wants this Premier League. The only disappointing thing about today is Arsenal only beat West Ham 2-0. I was expecting like 5-0, but I actually didn't take into cognizance that West Ham had a new coach that is one of the most defensive and most compact coaches in the Premier League now, Nuno Espirito Santos. So this is a very good win for them still. They go top of the Premier League temporarily, and they cannot be faulted at all. I mean, that first half, it was utter dominance. 2-0 flatters this performance. Oh yeah, wait, you there, like the video, subscribe and share now. That is how you can support the channel for free. Continue enjoying the video. That first half alone could have been 3-0. And of course, it was Rice again, against West Ham. I don't know why this brother likes scoring against his old club so much, but a well-deserved goal. That goal just came from pressure upon pressure upon pressure, and Rice was finally there to put away the ricochet. It was a good finish, and the second half was a penalty won by Urian Timber, who we have to start discussing as one of the best right-backs in the world. I don't know why people are scared to put him, but right now, if you talk about the top 3, top 5 right-backs in the world this season, you cannot name 5 better than Urian Timber. That is just the truth of the matter. Defensively and offensively, he's literally almost perfect. At least an 8 out of 10 every game. Offensively, he does his job unbelievably well. Defensively, you cannot get past this guy. He's literally like a mountain. I mean, that Timber, he stays in his name well.
Arsenal bullied West Ham United, 2-0 win at the Emirates. A confident, resounding victory for Mikel Arteta's men. And you have to say, West Ham United, they've just sacked Graham Potter, but Nuno's made them a lot harder to beat. But Arsenal today completely steamrolled West Ham, go top of the table and put massive, massive pressure on Liverpool in the title race. In this video, we're going to break down all the key moments and, of course, the big goals from the reliable modern-day legends of Arsenal Football Club, Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka. Declan Rice in particular, he's operating on a whole different level. Every week, he's getting better and better. And yes, it was a relatively straightforward finish, but he is guiding Arsenal through relatively tricky fixtures, and he is powerhouse in that midfield, dominating the ball and doing so well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave your comments down below as well. We had to start off in the first half. I mean, you have to say, Odegaard, Eze, Declan Rice, this is the kind of midfield that we can only dream of. It's one of the most creative, well-balanced midfields you're ever going to see in the Premier League. And it's the kind of midfield that I think Mikel Arteta ought to always be starting in these kind of games. And if it performs really, really well, when the likes of Bayern Munich rock up, Atletico Madrid, obviously in a couple of weeks, Bayern is in about a month's time, I don't see why Rice, with his physicality, covering all the ground that he does, a bit like how Rodri can do that defensive midfield position by himself, Kante, you're talking Fabinho at Liverpool back in the day, Fernandinho. You don't always need Zubimendi and Declan Rice at home at this stage in the season. I want to see Odegaard, I want to see Eze and Declan Rice play in midfield together. And we were granted that wish, which is one of the best midfields in Europe when it all starts together, only for a very small amount of time because obviously Martin Odegaard goes off injured. The first player in Premier League history to go off 3 times in a row in the first half. Now, obviously, all 3 of those are down to injuries and not tactical substitutions, but Martin Odegaard is a fundamental part of everything that Arsenal do. I feel that him and Eze, even though they're both creative, talented midfielders, are almost chalk and cheese. Eze's a bit more off the cuff. Eze can dribble with the ball a touch better. I'd say Eze's...
Arsenal are officially top of the Premier League with a 2-0 win over West Ham. And what's interesting about this game is last year, this was a fixture that Arsenal lost. And I told everyone, once their tough run of games, once they played Liverpool, once they played Newcastle United away, Manchester United away, the run of games they've got, they will pick up a lot of points. Winnable fixtures pretty much in the next 10 in all competitions. They do have some tough games, but fortunately for Arsenal and all of the Arsenal fans, their tough games are at home. Crystal Palace at home, Brighton at home, Atletico Madrid. But this Arsenal team, this squad, you get an injured player, it does not matter because there is significant depth in and around the squad. And Declan Rice just absolutely loves scoring against West Ham, doesn't he? Is that 3 goals now against West Ham? Bukayo Saka with a penalty. And Arsenal are sitting top of the league for a good few hours. And I actually have a feeling as well, Chelsea will take something off of Liverpool, maybe a draw. Chelsea are due a win. They have had a bit of a rough time recently, but I do fancy them to get something out of this game. We're going to break it all down. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are recording on the phone because I am actually on holiday right now, but the content still has to be posted. The grind still continues. We won today in a really good victory away at Ellen Road, and Arsenal today have beaten West Ham in a game where you kind of want both teams to lose, both of our rivals. So I didn't really care too much about who won this game because I wanted them both not to. But one of the most one-sided games you will watch all season. I think Arsenal had an expected goal rate of something like 2.68, 2.69. West Ham barely laid a glove on David Raya's goal. They were, first 15 minutes, they were probably in the game. And after that, you know, the first goal comes from Declan Rice. Bukayo Saka gets the ball running down that right-hand side, plays it into Eberechi Eze, who plays it across, gets the shot on target. And there is Declan Rice to half volley, lace, through into the back of the net.
Guys, we've got to talk about Arsenal, who have just beaten West Ham 2-0. And I'm not going to lie to you, I thought that West Ham could do something today. Now, West Ham have been pretty bad this season, but they've got Nuno in. And Nuno low blocks, new manager bounce, how West Ham looked against Everton, how much more defensively compact West Ham have looked already. It's a physical game, it's a mid-block game. The type of games Arsenal drop points in is these kind of games against the Nuno, where it's a physical, it's a mid-block. And we know that Arsenal, obviously they've battered West Ham in the past, but Arteta has also struggled against Arsenal in the past, and not Arsenal past, West Ham in the past. And I was like, you know what, maybe Nuno's going to do something today. But Arsenal won. And do you know what's really weird about Arsenal? Is you look at the Newcastle game, from 1-0 down to winning 2-1 in the last minute of the game. That's a game that Arsenal wouldn't have won last season. The Newcastle game is a game Arsenal wouldn't have won last season. The game today, I think, is a game that Arsenal could have drew last season, just because it's Nuno and because it's a low block. And Arsenal won them today. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but Arsenal are top of the league right now. Look, I'm filming this at half-time. Obviously, it's half-time right now, Liverpool-Chelsea. So things could change. Liverpool could come back and win it. But Liverpool haven't looked good the last 2 games. This could be 3 losses in a row. Arsenal, all of a sudden, winning a load of games in a row, getting the points. And you look at Arsenal's last 3 games, it's been against those physical mid-blocks and low blocks, and that's where Arsenal struggled. Arsenal have always found it most difficult against those physical sides with the low blocks, with the mid-blocks. This is when Arsenal fail to win. They get a draw or they're relying on set pieces, but Arsenal have won those games. And what stopped Arsenal from being able to win the league last season was in those games, Liverpool would win them, Arsenal would draw them. Plus, Arsenal had the injuries. And in the summer, Berta went all out to give Arsenal the most elite squad depth ever. But also, I think with people like Eze that like to take risks that are a bit more direct, I think with Gyökeres, with his movement, who wasn't great today, Madueke, I know didn't play today, but with the kind of signings that Arsenal are making as well, it makes them less predictable. I think Eze is going to be a big signing. And Arsenal top of the league right now, and if things stay the same the way they are going, Arsenal could be favourites because their depth is a lot better than Liverpool's.